What a silly way to spend a Tuesday. Hello YouTubers, this is a noobifier. I started this series and playlist called Community Concerns because I have more time to research, and if you missed past week's installments, they're in a playlist. You can bookmark it and check in every once in a while to get caught up to date. And of course, if you find it fun, please do me a favor and share it with a friend or orgmate. Today is the 18th of October. I do them on Tuesdays, and I choose topics wherever possible that are well presented and have a good banter back and forth. We begin with the threats. Fluffernutter has been deep into the historical lore, and they say that after what we have seen at CitizenCon that they do not believe that what we were shown is actually Pyro. Pyro by name only, but nothing like what it was said to be in the past. They're referring to, I'm assuming, what I spoke about last year in my tour of Pyro. The Arc star map lists the known game universe. It's linked in the description. It's actually quite cool. The Arc star map, however, is based on the lore from 2015. They, the OP, said that based on what we have, what we're looking at is more likely to be Lear and not Pyro. They asked if we should rename it and make Pyro the way the lore lists it. My suggestion, which is a shit ton more simple, is to update the effing lore. In the army we have KISS, which is an acronym for Keep It Simple Stupid. Hathos Tal had a great suggestion, and that was that the OP should just, accept that it's a developing game title and that the lore from 2015 might not stand the test of time. They also suggested that the lore from 2015 might just be updated to reflect the new content. If you'd believe it, the OP actually defended their position when confronted with such a compelling and well thought out reply, stating that CIG has an obligation to deliver what was promised, and blah 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 blah. Right? This is where I started to lose interest because it felt more like a Karen TikTok than Spectrum. They said that Pyro is core and fundamental to all lore, and if they change that lore here, all of the other lore falls like a set of dominoes. I personally appreciate and understand that some people value lore greatly. Me, not so much. It's not at the forefront of my concerns. I am more worried about things like the flight model, the game systems, the MMO aspects of the content, the fun, and then stability. Whatever the backstory is for the unfinished game, change it and let's let it evolve as long as it doesn't get ripped apart after the game launches. That would be a tragedy. What are your thoughts? Is lore important to you? Is lore that important to you? Does Chris owe us? Is Pyro fine the way it is? And is Chris Roberts an actual liar if it isn't made exactly the way it was said to be in 2015? Next, Cameron posted that Pyro doesn't fit with the original lore. They posted a link to the lore. They posted a link to an old video they made. They posted a bunch of text about the lore, and they said it needs to be changed to reflect the lore. And seriously, guys, 318 was delayed, and all of you are pissed off about Pyro being blue instead of black. So this is the same as before. I don't care as long as the lore is updated so that the system makes sense. And I don't care as long as the lore isn't altered after the game launches in 2035 or whatever. Next. Vex Borden is worried that there's too much money out in the universe. It's too easy to make too much, and they're concerned that every player will quickly become a Fortune 500 business. They want this addressed soon. Tommy Gunn clarified that the OP is looking for a money sink, which is a common mechanic in many MMOs to balance the economy. And Makeshift, with the MVP post for the week, took the time to list in extreme detail all of the proposed sinks. I will have this thread linked so you can go back and check it out, and if you'd like to add to the discussion, insurance is a sink, fuel is a sink, pirates stealing your shit is a sink, maintenance and repair are both sinks, ammo, fuel, and all of the other things that we don't have yet are sinks. So to the OP, yeah. Thanks Tips, great idea. But this was part of the plan all the way back in 2011, and you only need to wait for it to be addressed as the development continues. Next, Citizen Jags wants an updated update to the Gen 12 updates. They're running on older hardware, and they want to know if this migration to Gen 12 will require them to invest in a newer 30 or 40 series graphics card in the near future. And all of this, in my opinion, is a fantastic question and something that is important to remember. CIG themselves have stated that the systems that they use to do internal QC are a mixed bag of hardware to ensure that they get a better idea of what issues the community will experience. Now, having said that, I don't believe that any of them are playing on 980 Ti's, right? Like, this is not possible. So, no, and J3PT found the right information for the OP, stating that 318 will be Gen 12 Direct 11. And they plan to have Vulkan implemented after that, so we can read into that might be Q2 2023. So therefore, no, not a massive panic to get the upgrades immediately. The conversation went to discuss the new Intel Arc graphics cards and how their unique architecture might deliver great performance on a budget. A very neat thread, a great conversation, and a great discussion without needing moderation. What are your thoughts? Do you or will you be upgrading? Did you? And if so, from what to what? Some people who recently went from 3080 Ti to 3090 noticed nothing from the GPU in starcitizen. CPU is the key, people. They've said it before, sink your money into the CPU and you will see improvements. Next, and finally, WinterX proposes that the lore team change the name of Pyro system to something else because it doesn't follow the known lore of the system from 2015. They suggested calling it New Pyro. They want it to have a non-Nova star. They want the new lore to go with New Pyro. They want the developers to also make Old Pyro exactly the way it was supposed to be so that Chris isn't a liar. They posted an exhaustive list of what it should be and what it should have, a Pyro recipe, if you will. And yeah, I'm trolling here a little bit. It's funny how the community gets an idea and then everyone shitposts their own new thread about the idea du jour, the idea of the day, and I think it's great that this week there's no drama, or at least so little of it, that there's nothing that people are actually upset about, and that these topics are the forefront of the issue for the week. That's it. I appreciate you taking the time to join me, and of course, I hope that you take the effort to comment and share. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.